welcome to the June 17th, 2025 City of Oshkosh Plan Commission meeting. We're glad that you can join us. I do see we have a quorum. A few housekeeping items to go over before we begin. Please turn off or silence all of your personal communication devices. The applicant and members of the public may speak to any item before the Plan Commission when the relevant item to which you wish to speak is called and public comment is open. Unless an exception is made by the Plan Commission, the following rules will apply. The applicant will be given up to 10 minutes to present any information they wish for us to consider. Thereafter, members of the public will be given up to 5 minutes to address the specific item before the Plan Commission. Members of the public may only speak once per called agenda item unless a Plan Commission member requires clarification or wishes to ask you a question. Questions or statements from the audience will not be considered. Only statements from the podium after your stated name and address and within the allowed time constraints will be taken into consideration. After all community members have had an opportunity to speak on the agenda item, the applicant will be asked if they have a final statement for the Plan Commission, and then the Commission may take action on that agenda item. The Common Council has adopted rules of decorum for city boards and commissions, including the adoption of a civility pledge. No person shall personally attack a board or commission member, city official, staff, or any other person. No person shall make irrelevant, unduly repetitive, offensive, threatening, slanderous, defamatory, or obscene remarks or act in such a manner as to disrupt or disturb the orderly conduct of the meeting. This would include hand clapping, stomping of feet, whistling, shouting, or other demonstrations. I thank you all for your understanding. Roll call, please.
Mr. Rucker?
Here.
Miss Davy?
Here.
Mr. Lowenstein? Mr. Bowen?
Here.
Miss Shireman?
Here.
Miss Pratt?
Here.
Mr. Pollack? Councilmember Bulow?
Here.
Vice Chair Kiefer?
Here.
Chairman Perry?
Here.
8 board members present.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the June 3rd, 2025 minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Any discussion on that motion? I am seeing none. We can have a voice vote on this. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Okay, the minutes are carried. Thank you. Item number 1 is a public hearing. It's a zone change from heavy industrial district to heavy industrial district with a plan development overlay. An approval of a general development plan and specific implementation plan for an outdoor storage area at 3200 North Main Street. 4 Airflow LLC is the owner. Cornerstone 1 LLC is the applicant. Have there been any site inspections? Okay, those are so noted and recorded. Thank you. I will accept the staff report as part of the record. Please present your summary.
Thank you. The subject site is located at the northeast corner of North Main Street and East Fernald Avenue. It has an existing 10,800 square foot industrial building and associated parking area. And the surrounding area consists of industrial land uses. The applicant is requesting a zone change from the existing heavy industrial district to heavy industrial district with a plan development overlay. And this is intended to allow for flexibility in the zoning ordinance to accommodate a front yard storage area on the site. Staff is supportive of the proposed rezone as the site configuration leaves a minimal available code compliant area for an outdoor storage area, which is needed by the applicant. Here's the proposed site plan. The applicant is proposing an approximately 11,000 square foot outdoor storage area on the south side of the existing building. It will be used for storage of HVAC units, trailers, equipment, scrap metal, and refuse containers. And outdoor storage is a conditional use in the HI zoning district. The outdoor storage area will be located on existing pavement on the south side of the building, and also they're proposing an additional 3,000 square feet of pavement to the south of the existing parking lot, and they will need a BSM for this addition as it extends into the 30-foot front setback area to 15 feet from the front property line along Fernald Avenue. They're also requesting a reduced side yard setback to match the existing pavement setback of 4 feet from the east property line, where code requires a 20-foot setback. The applicant is also proposing a BSM for the proposed fencing to screen the area from the public right-of-way. They're proposing 8-foot tall chain link fence with privacy slatting. The BSMs are needed as the proposed as the proposed fencing does not meet the code requirements with a code maximum of 4 feet tall in the front yard and is over the maximum opacity of 50%, and also code prohibits chain link fencing within front yard areas. This was brought to a Plan Commission workshop at our last meeting with Plan Commission voicing support for the proposed BSMs. Staff is supportive of the requested BSMs for setback reductions and front yard fencing, as site limitations related to the corner lot and the location of the existing stormwater pond on the north side of the site limit the applicant's ability to meet setback requirements for a new storage area. The applicant is providing a row of evergreen tree plantings along the front property line along East Fernal Avenue, and this is to further screen the storage area from the public right-of-way. Code requires yard landscaping for the outdoor storage area at a total of 110 points. The proposed 15 arborvitae tree along the front property line resulted in an increase of 381 landscaping points, and this serves to offset the BSM requests. So with that, staff recommends approval of the rezone, GDP, and SIP with the findings and conditions in the staff report.
All right, thank you very much for your report. Plan Commission, are there any technical questions to the staff? Councilmember Buell.
So when we do a BSM in exchange for extra trees and stuff like that, how long is the applicant required to keep the trees in place, or how does that work?
In perpetuity, they're required,
Okay.
once it's approved, they need to maintain the landscaping.
Okay.
Any other technical questions for staff? Any technical questions for staff? Okay, I'm seeing none. This is a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing and ask if the applicant would like to make a statement. Is the applicant here, and do they wish to make a statement? State your name and address for the records, please.
Hi, my name's Steve Adkins, and the address is 3200 North Main Street, Presumptuous. And I don't know if I have an actual statement. I think the only challenge that I'm having, and Brian can correct me if I'm wrong, is with stormwater management. I think that is probably the last hurdle for me to get over and to do that, but I just don't know the proper place to discuss that.
Okay. Thank you.
At this point, it's really just the land use approval. Once they get that council approval, then that's typically when those items are fleshed out, like the stormwater utility side of things.
So then I have no comment for here.
Thank you very much. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Any member of the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Okay, I'm seeing none, so I'm going to close the public hearing. I don't need a closing statement from the applicant unless they so choose. So, Plan Commission, the action is upon you.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Any discussion on this motion? Okay, I'm seeing none. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rucker,
Aye.
Miss Davy,
Aye.
Mr. Bowen,
Aye.
Miss Shireman,
Aye.
Miss Prop,
Aye.
Councilmember Bulow,
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer,
Aye.
Chairman Perry.
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
Wonderful, thank you. Item number 2 is also a public hearing. It's a review of the 2025 to 2029 Consolidated Plan and the 2025 Annual Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program. The City of Oshkosh is the applicant. There are no site inspections, so I will accept the staff report as part of the record, and you may present your summary.
For this item, the Plan Commission is being asked to make a determination of consistency that the proposed activities in the CDBG Consolidated Plan and Action Plan are consistent with the city's comprehensive plan as updated and any other official maps or planned activities of the city, in addition to recommending approval to the City Council. Staff is proposing the project allocations that are laid out in the staff report under 2025 entitlement allocations. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you for your report. Plan Commission, do you have any technical questions for the staff? Ms. Prop?
Do we know if this development block grant program is threatened by federal cutbacks or potential cutbacks?
For this year, no.
Okay.
We have our estimated allocation amount as the $822,000. And after this plan is submitted with approval from HUD, we should get that allocation with an agreement with HUD once that's signed. In future years, there's speculation, but can't say at this point.
Okay.
Ms. Prop?
I have one more question. When I was going through the report online, there's an immense amount of data in there, collected, I think, from various sources. I was particularly struck by the housing problems listed, including substandard housing lacking complete plumbing or kitchen facilities. At one point, we had a rental inspection program that was going to enlighten us about some of these issues, and state legislature managed to torpedo that. So how do we know that this kind of substandard conditions, I mean, we know, but how do we know which properties?
There isn't data beyond what's provided in the report, to my knowledge, that gets into specifics like that. But a lot of the data provided is pulled from the source that's listed in the HUD reporting system. It's generated from that system automatically. It's called the IDIS system that we report to HUD on.
Okay.
So it's the data source that's listed there. It's from that source, but the data is pulled automatically, if that makes sense.
Okay. Then
But any more specifics other than what's listed doesn't get into that.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other technical questions? Okay, I'm seeing none, so since this is a public hearing, I will open the public hearing. We have just heard a statement from the applicant, and you require no further statement, correct?
No.
Okay, is there any member of the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Any member of the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Okay, I'm seeing none, so I'm going to close the public hearing. We do not need a closing statement from the applicant unless they're inclined to do so. So, Plan Commission, the action is upon you. I'm willing to entertain a motion to find that the 2025 to 2029 consolidated plan is consistent with the action plan developed for the city,
Correct.
and approval of the 2025 annual action plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? I will make a brief comment. This is the first time in 7 years I've actually been able to vote on this without voting present, and I'm very grateful that this is one of a few communities in Wisconsin that shares some of the community development block grant money with needed organizations, and I'm happy to support this. Any other comment? Okay, seeing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Ms. Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Ms. Shireman?
Aye.
Ms. Prom?
Aye.
Councilmember Bulow?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer?
Aye.
Chairman Perry?
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
Wonderful, thank you. Item number 3 on the agenda is the George Washington bus location. City of Oshkosh is the owner and applicant. I assume there's been no site inspections, and so I will accept the staff report as part of the record. Please present your summary.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right, so the item before you today is in regards to the George Washington bus that was previously located in front of Washington School on Winnebago Avenue. What we're here for today is there's a Wisconsin state statute that says that Plan Commission shall review the location of any statue or memorial. So this is before you because of that reason. The subject site that is being considered for the relocation of this bust is Rowe Park, which can be seen up on the screen currently. Here are a couple images of the bust. And just as some background information, I'll read part of the staff report here. So over the last year or so, year and a half, community development staff has been working with Menominee South, River East, and the Stevens Park neighborhood associations, as well as the library, the museum, the Parks Department, Public Works Department, to determine locations that were viable for this bust. As I stated, where it was previously located in front of the Washington School, which has now been removed. In September of 2024, that existing school property was sold to the city of Oshkosh and is in the process of being redeveloped for single-family homes. This bust, as many others in Oshkosh, statues as well, are part of a collection that was gifted to the city in the early 1900s by Colonel John Hicks, and they are maintained through the John Hicks Trust Fund. In 2024, like I said, those different departments engaged those 3 neighborhoods surrounding the Washington School site to come up with a plan to find a new location for the bust. The outcome of those engagements was a collaborative Great Neighborhoods Program application by the 3 neighborhoods asking for funds to help with the relocation and beautification of the site once determined. So from those meetings, city staff considered many locations, and on Tuesday, June 3rd, 3 of those options were presented to neighborhood representatives that were invited for a meeting to vote on those locations. The neighborhoods that came, the selected people there voted on Rowe Park, with Washington Avenue, the Washington Avenue side of the park being the desired location. City staff also agree that Rowe Park is a good central location in the city where the Washington bus will receive ample exposure to the public, which satisfies the original intent of the gift from Colonel Hicks to emphasize beautification and monumental grandeur in urban planning, which can promote moral and civic pride in urban populations. Just as a little bit of background on the Great Neighborhoods Funds, those were set aside to help pay for any landscaping, concrete, or other site designs that were needed around the bus to make it as attractive as possible for years to come for the public. So really what we're looking for, this did go before the Parks Department, I forget the date, since June 3rd and in between now and then. And now it's coming before you guys and it'll go on to council after this. So we're just looking for your recommendation of approval to relocate it in Rowe Park.
Okay, thank you very much for your report, Plan Commission. Are there any technical questions? Mr. Bowen?
I'm just curious, is there like a catalog of what's in this collection that's available anywhere?
There is.
Is it library or a museum or anything like that?
The location of that catalog
is in your office? Is the like?
We found a printout of the catalog, which I think there's an actual book.
Is there?
And it looks like the printout we have is like from a book.
Okay.
So yes, there is. If you're interested in.
I'm honestly, I don't know. I've always, maybe there's other people on here who know. I didn't know that this was part of a larger collection, and that would actually be kind of a cool. Now, Marty probably knows and probably wrote the book, so.
I didn't write it, Ed, but I can address that a little bit.
Ms. Davey.
I yield my time.
Thank you. I believe there is a book at the Oshkosh Public Library that would have this. John Hicks not only left money for, during his lifetime, he had a lot of these commissioned, but he left money for them to be maintained. They include the lions at the library, Sawyer and Harris, thank you, yes. And they also include a $100 a year per school donation that goes to the school libraries. But it has to be used for some kind of a reference material like a dictionary or, back in the old days, sometimes it was encyclopedias, but I don't know if they even replace those anymore, frankly.
Okay.
So, yeah, they have a lot of information on John Hicks. He is a cool guy.
Cool. I'm just curious, honestly, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if this was something that more people knew about, so thank you.
They're all over town,
Yeah. I didn't know they were all
connected.
Neat.
And I think, the ones that exist on the school properties, makes sense, they were probably put there when the school and the city were one, right? So now that some of those are going away, the city
Yeah.
has to make sure that we're getting them back and maintaining them and putting them in on city property.
Yeah.
Any other technical questions? Ms. Davy?
I'm curious, Brandon, what the Great Neighborhood Funds, are they going to provide vegetation or a stand or a little patio, or is that to be determined?
Yeah, to be determined, right? We'll probably work with the Parks Department on what exactly can happen and where. But yeah, the goal is going to be to not just like pluck it somewhere, to kind of similarly to, I guess, some of the other well-situated statues in the city that have proper landscaping and maybe some viewing points around it, something like that. But we'll have to work with the Parks Department to finalize those details.
And from the little dot that I think I saw on the map when you had it up there, it's actually going to be,
No.
is where it's pointing going to be where it goes, or is it going to be down closer to Washington Ave?
Yeah, like I said, the goal would be to get it somewhere
Okay,
in the Washington Ave side of the park, whether it's somewhere off this path or off the street somewhere. Again, to be determined, but that was
closer to the street,
that would
which
be
I
the
thought I
emphasis,
heard
to
you
get it
say.
closest to Washington Avenue, being that it's a George Washington bus.
What a concept.
Yes.
I like it.
Any other technical questions? All right, I'm seeing none, and so I will allow public comment. And the applicant has made a statement, so is there any other member of the public that wishes to address this agenda item? Any member of the public that wishes to address this agenda item? Okay, I'm seeing none, so I'm going to close the public comment period. We don't need a closing statement from the applicant, so Plan Commission, the action is upon you.
I'll make a motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Ms. Prop?
I just want to thank the staff for spending so much time with the neighbors, plus the other institutions. I think that it took time, but I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Councilmember Buell?
Thank you. Just had a short statement. I'm not a big busted memorial guy. Like I would probably not notice if it wasn't there. So I'm glad that somebody is paying attention to that and making sure that we do have those maintained and kept, because I would be lax. So I'm glad that somebody is focusing on that.
Yeah, we're lucky to have them.
Any other, Mr. Kiefer?
I heard you made a comment about, other schools may be closed, and other bus may have to be relocated. Is there an option to, if the new owner agrees to it, to have that bus stay there if it was room? Say, I don't know if there was one for Roosevelt, for instance, if that gets sold and redeveloped, if there's nothing going to be in the way. I don't even know if there's a Roosevelt bus, but I know like Lincoln.
I think there is.
Lincoln School has
I think
there's a
Lincoln
Roosevelt.
School, and that's been sold. I believe that stayed there, even though the university owns it. It's institutional kind of ownership. But anyhow, I'm just wondering, because then it kind of honors that site forever as well.
It'll probably depend, on each specific scenario, right? I mean, in this scenario, it's being converted to residential,
Yeah.
so there is no swap for it.
Right.
But case by case, maybe.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, I'm seeing none, so let's have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rucker?
Aye.
Miss Davy?
Aye.
Mr. Bowen?
Aye.
Miss Shireman?
Aye.
Miss Prop?
Aye.
Councilmember Buelow?
Aye.
Vice Chair Kiefer?
Aye.
Chairman Perry?
Aye.
Motion carried 8-0.
Wonderful. Last item on the agenda is adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
We have multiple moves and multiple seconds. We can have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.